So a week after Jorge Masvidal put up his hood, put on a mask, snuck up behind Colby Covington like a bitch and attacked him, doing $15,000 worth of damage to a Rolex watch, chipping a tooth, then going online professing his guilt, and then in the aftermath saying that he wasn't guilty. We had complete and utter blackout/bias from the MMA media, fueled by the fact that they just do not like Colby Covington for whatever reason, whether it's his politics, whether it's his attitude. For me, I think it's definitely because of the culture war that's raging. And now a week later, after pretty much radio silence from most commentators, we have Josh Thomson from the Weighing In podcast doing his brilliant version of a pivot, just like the pivot that we've all experienced in the last 2 months, where we couldn't get on an airplane without being injected. We couldn't go to work without being injected. We couldn't have a meal. We couldn't have a beer. We couldn't do anything without being injected. The government and social media said that you were far right and a white supremacist if you didn't comply with these lockdowns. And then, like that, it just stopped. It disappeared, and we were directed over to the Ukrainian conflict. And now we're experiencing the exact same denigration from the media and from the social justice warriors and from the biggest virtue signalers on the planet. The people that have Ukrainian flags on their car, except for they couldn't point it out on a map and have no idea what's been happening in Ukraine for the last 8 years. So that's the type of monumental pivot that Josh Thomson has done this week. And we've seen Josh Thomson do the ultimate pivot from just 7 days ago, where he was saying if you talk shit about his kids, then you kind of deserved what you got. That's street shit, baby. That's what everyone was saying, right? Now Josh Thomson is saying that, well, we kind of know that he wasn't speaking about Jorge Masvidal's children, but he was speaking about him being a bad father. So you don't understand how that can interrupt a family lifestyle. Colby obviously doesn't realize that. I know he wasn't talking about the kids directly, but you can interrupt the family lifestyle. What? What the fuck? What are you talking about? Let's have a listen.
And someone said, and I saw all the comments, guys, oh, he didn't say anything about his family. What I mean is this: if he didn't say anything about his kids, what he said was things that would interrupt a family lifestyle. That's what you guys have to remember.
You got to remember that. And now we have seen the narrative completely shift from you can't speak about someone's family to, even though you're not speaking about their family, what you're saying can interrupt the family lifestyle. Dude, it's 100% copium. It is an excuse. It is complete and utter condoning the event. And they go on to say loads of other stuff. There's so much to unpack on this one. I probably won't get into it because I'm going to try to keep this short. But they just hate Colby. That's it. And people of a certain social ideology are always going to lean a certain way. We've seen it in the last 24 hours with Will Smith. There are so many people coming at me on this channel pointing out, well, you shouldn't be talking about someone's family. Hold up 1 second. Will Smith is a billionaire almost. Come on, man. And now we have guys, we've got UFC fighters coming out. We've got like Michael Bisping coming out going, talk shit, get banged. Shut up, man. You're condoning violence just because of an opinion, because of a societal opinion.
You're a bitch. And I like Colby. I like him a lot. I like him as a fighter. I like his shtick. I like all of that. I love it. But in this situation, you have to understand, you didn't grow up the way that this guy did.
Can you actually deal with this? I think John McCarthy is a bit more annoying than Josh Thomson because every time something happens or every time Colby's name is mentioned, he sneers and he gives a little laugh.
Colby Covington, George Masvidal situation. Apparently, Colby's pressed charges against George, and his $90,000 Rolex being damaged is a part of that.
Like Colby, he was there, whatever, at some restaurant, like by himself or with one friend. It's not going to get down if he's going to get down. If George walked up, Colby's the guy that he walks around probably in confidence just by himself with a friend, or maybe he has no friends. I don't know. Feeling like
he's sneering at every single thing that he talks about when it comes to Colby. But this guy's talking about the man code. The man code. He's calling Colby a bitch. But you can just tell that when the camera is off, they fucking hate Colby Covington. Hate him. Absolutely hate him.
And I said that too. Remember what I said about Stephen A? Stephen A says things sometimes. He doesn't realize one of these times these MMA guys are going to find you in an elevator and they're going to slap the shit out of you. And that's the problem.
The elevator's going to open up and someone's going to be on the ground unconscious.
And that's the problem.
I doubt it's going to be the MMA fighter.
Yeah, I doubt it too. But
So they have a little laugh about the idea that because a commentator talks about the performance of a professional athlete who makes millions of dollars, that it's kind of okay for them to meet them in an elevator and beat the shit out of them. And the two boys are laughing at that.
that's my point. George is not, he shouldn't have leveled himself to that dirty stuff, right? He's so talented and good enough. He could have walked up and said, you know what, let's handle it now in the streets. The streets is a lot different than when you're fighting someone in the cage. Everyone's like,
Yes,
we
it
could
is.
just handle in the cage 25 minutes. Look, man, if I fight you in the streets, my
there
fingers
are
go
no
in your
rules.
eyes.
There are no rules.
I'm headbutting you. I'm elbowing you.
Everything.
I'm pulling at your eye. I'm doing everything. This is different. Now, if that was the situation that George wanted to approach, then he should have done it that way.
Well, I kind of agree with him there. If he had approached Colby and it was a one-on-one situation in the car park, there could have been a different outcome completely. You remember that Colby Covington is the bigger guy. He's a better wrestler. And Josh Thomson is talking about he ain't that guy. He's talking about finger pokes and headbutting and all this type of stuff. And I'm sure that Masvidal is capable of all that. But anyone is capable of that when you're in a fight in a car park. So to say that, 25 minutes in the octagon doesn't really mean anything. And if Jorge had approached him and face to face in the car park, it would have been different because Jorge is street, man. Again, it's copium, it's embarrassing, and the commentators need to be called out every time they do it. All you got to do is turn on Josh Thomson, John McCarthy weighing in, and you will see the hatred and bias towards Colby Covington. It's quite disgusting. And all you got to do is turn on social media yesterday and you'll see the exact same thing about Will Smith. It's okay for him to do it. It's okay the guy said something bad about his wife. It wasn't the fact that he was emotionally destroyed for the last 2 or 3 years because she was banging a 21-year-old and you had to sit by and do nothing. And the exact same scenario with Jorge Masvidal. It wasn't the fact that you talked crap and you thought you could win. That wasn't part of it. It wasn't the fact that you went in there, you got your ass kicked for 25 minutes, you couldn't do anything. That wasn't part of it. It wasn't the fact that on the Monday of the actual attack, a video went viral of you pretty much crying and hugging and slobbering into your dad's arms in the locker room after you got your shit kicked in. None of that. It's just, he's street, bro, and Colby isn't. Do me a favor, if you like this video, subscribe. Cheers.